okay? But
all day, all year round.
it's so mysterious.
This is who we are.
This is who we are. WAVR.
WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's midday in Dakar, 1 o'clock in Lagos. Good afternoon, and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on WADR.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. The second edition of the Invest in Senegal Forum continues in Dakar with call for sustainable investment in West Africa.
West Africa should be viewed as an interconnected ecosystem, abundant in natural resources. Our goal is to attract investments that can make a meaningful difference in the lives of its people, particularly focusing on youth, women, and rural communities.
Fuel scarcity looms in parts of Mali due to rising attacks on supply tankers by fighters from Jenim.
What has been observed on the ground when we look at the overall findings from observation missions, we can safely say that there are sufficient quantities of fuel available to supply the country for a certain number of days, while waiting for the competent authorities to implement the necessary measures.
The Nigerian government targets 100 million children in a major vaccination drive against measles and polio. And Burkina Faso arrests 7 NGO workers over espionage allegations. Please stay with us for details of these stories and more.
West Africa Democracy Radio. It's you speaking.
My name is Sankule Janko. We're glad to have you joined our broadcast this afternoon. The second edition of the Invest in Senegal Forum concludes today. The event brings together decision makers and investors from around the world. The forum focuses on opportunities in several sectors, including agro-industry, green energy, and digital technology, among others. Abdullah Hassan tells us more.
During his speech, the Senegalese president emphasized the need for a new approach to invest in Senegal. Bassirou Diomaye Faye highlighted Senegal's strength as a destination for sustainable investment.
Senegal is strategically positioned to foster an investment-friendly environment. As a stable nation with a strong democratic tradition, we prioritize transparent governance and place the fight against corruption at the forefront of our national agenda. The country offers undeniable strengths and a wealth of diverse economic opportunities for investors across key sectors such as infrastructure, agriculture, energy, industries, tourism, craftsmanship, and digital technology.
Several West African leaders are taking part in the event. President Omar Sissoko Embalo of Guinea-Bissau is advocating for an inclusive investment model.
West Africa should be viewed as an interconnected ecosystem, abundant in natural resources. Our goal is to attract investments that can make a meaningful difference in the lives of its people, particularly focusing on youth, women, and rural communities.
The Confederation of Sahel States, AES, is also represented at the forum. Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo, Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, is calling for fairer partnerships with investors to benefit African populations.
It is important to ensure that investment does not become just another name for exploitation. Unfortunately, when people are subjected to certain conditions, particularly under the constraints of unfair agreements, the country's wealth inevitably fails to benefit its citizens, its sons and daughters.
The second edition of the Invest in Senegal Forum concludes this Wednesday. This year, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the guest of honor.
Abdullah Hassan filed that report. In Burkina Faso, 7 workers from an NGO, including some French nationals, have been arrested by the transitional government. The employees of a Dutch NGO INSO are accused of espionage and illegally collecting security-related information. The announcement was made by the Minister of Security, Police Commander Mahamadou Sana, during a press conference on Tuesday. Christopher Atichi completes the story.
Addressing the press conference in Ouagadougou, the Burkinabe Minister of Security, Mahamadou Sana, disclosed that investigations into the activities of ENSO began in January 2025. These investigations reportedly revealed that the organization had been illegally collecting information about Burkina Faso and storing it abroad.
INSO parvenait à recenser soigneusement les itinéraires.
INSO meticulously documented the route, movement, and composition of military convoys and supplied transport intended to remain confidential for the sake of national defense. It systematically catalogued the military resources deployed to secure a specific convoy, gathering details on the number of personnel, vehicles, heavy weaponry, motorcycles, and other elements.
De motos, etc.
Furthermore, Sana indicated that the Dutch NGO had been gathering data on operational areas, the positions and interventions of defense and security forces, as well as the volunteers for the defense of the homeland. It also recorded the GPS coordinates of terrorist attacks and incidents involving explosive devices. This information was collected on the ground by intermediaries and former military personnel. After the discovery of these allegedly illegal activities, 7 people, including French nationals, were arrested, according to the minister.
All individuals involved who have been apprehended will be brought before the Faso prosecutor on charges of espionage and treason in accordance with the provisions of Article 311(4).
The NGO INSO has been operating in Burkina Faso since 2019. According to its accreditation granted by the Ministry of Territorial Administration, its declared mission is to ensure the safety of humanitarian workers. As of July 2025, the authorities had decided to suspend the organization's activities before the revelations made by the Minister of Security.
A report by WADR's Ouagadougou correspondent Martin Caban, presented by Christopher Aticho. While staying in the Sahel region, fuel scarcity is gradually looming in different regions of Mali. Since Monday, gas stations in the Malian capital Bamako have been overwhelmed by dozens of people trying to get fuel liters to carry out their activities. This unprecedented situation comes as fuel supply routes have been cut off due to attacks on tanker trucks by the group for the support of Islam and Muslims, In the wake of this fuel shortage, the authorities are reassuring the public that measures are being taken to continue supplying the country with hydrocarbons. During a press briefing on Tuesday, Soumaïla Jite, the Deputy Director General of Trade, Consumer Affairs and Competition, indicated that the situation is not alarming.
What has been observed on the ground when we look at the overall findings from observation missions, we can safely say that there are sufficient quantities of fuel available to supply the country for a certain number of days, while waiting for the competent authorities to implement the necessary measures. I can also say that the DGCC and OMAP are institutions that will continue to monitor the situation and, above all, provide accurate information regardless of how the country's fuel supply situation evolves. This is an opportunity for me, on behalf of the highest authorities, to thank the population for their patience, patriotism, and especially their spirit of resilience in the face of a situation that I emphasize is only temporary and will soon be resolved through the actions taken by the authorities.
Soumaïla Jite is the Deputy Director General of Trade, Consumer Affairs and Competition of Mali.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Let's go to Guinea, where several gas stations are closed in the capital, Conakry. The cause? A strike initiated by tanker truck drivers. These carriers, key linked in the fuel supply chain across the country, have decided to park their vehicles since Monday. They are demanding better living and working conditions. Imo Edet has the rest of the details.
Among the strikers' demands are better living conditions, including a salary increase and medical coverage. They also denounced the long hours of driving without rest. According to them, this protest movement is the only way to make their anger heard, says truck driver Suleiman Kamara. In the commune of Dixon, as in several districts of Conakry, the consequences of this standoff are already being felt. Gas stations are running dry, and motorcyclists and drivers are growing impatient in front of the stations. Striking drivers have announced that they are not ready to give in. In light of the situation, the public is urging authorities to initiate dialogue with transport workers to prevent a disruption of activities.
A report by our Conakry correspondent Cherno Alpha Ibrahim Balde, voiced by Imo Edet. In Togo, several journalists and media professionals have been trained in techniques to combat disinformation and hate speech. The initiative led by the NGO Youth Awake is taking place in a context of socio-political tensions and a growing risk of information manipulation. Augustine Coley has more.
The two-day workshop was held in Lomé and targeted 25 journalists and presenters from all regions of the country. Journalist James Kuyu participated in the training workshop.
In the past, terrorism seemed like a distant issue, far removed from us. Today, it is at our doorstep. By that, I mean in northern Togo. The topics surrounding this situation, I must admit, evoke fear among us. It raises the question, how can we discuss such issues without risking legal repercussions? I can confidently say that I feel equipped to address this subject thoughtfully and without panic.
In the face of these challenges, the workshop aims to be an effective initiative to equip media professionals in the fight against disinformation and the ethical management of information. Dambre Sibat is a representative of the executive director of Youth Awake.
This project, now in its second phase, involves undergoing specialized training, supported by the German Federal Foreign Office. It aims to equip media professionals like yourself with practical tools to better manage information during crisis, strengthen journalistic ethics, counter misinformation, and promote communication that fosters peace and social cohesion.
This meeting, supported by the Ministry of Communication, Media and Culture, as well as the High Authority for Audiovisual and Communication, will enable the association to lay the foundations for a network of journalists committed to combating disinformation, polarizing opinion, and hate speech.
WDR Sylvie Wadrago's report, voiced by Augustine Coley. Nigeria has embarked on one of its most extensive vaccination campaigns, aiming to immunize more than 100 million children against measles, rubella, and polio. This large-scale initiative also seeks to bolster efforts to eradicate preventable childhood disease throughout West and Central Africa. Backed by key partners such as WHO, UNICEF, Gavi, Rotary International, and the Africa CDC, the campaign marks a significant stride toward advancing universal health coverage across the region. Usman Omar reports from Abuja.
The nationwide campaign, launched in Abuja this week, is a renewed push to protect children from preventable diseases. It targets children aged 0 to 14 for measles and rubella, and those under 5 for polio. Phase 1 of the rollout covers 20 high-risk northern states and Oyo in the southwest, while the second phase will begin in January 2026 to reach the remaining 15 states. Health workers will use fixed posts, outreach sites and door-to-door visits to ensure no child is left behind. Muhammad Ali Pate is Nigeria's Minister of Health and Social Development.
The children that we vaccinate, the families that we reach, and the trust that we build in our country are what will help deliver the renewed hope promise to our fellow Nigerians and define the legacy, the health legacy of an entire generation.
The event drew government officials, international partners, community leaders, religious and traditional rulers, including the wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, all of whom pledged to support the campaign's success.
With this vaccine, our children will be protected against 2 deadly diseases and enjoy a lifetime of safety and protection.
The integrated campaign combines other essential child health services such as malaria prevention and treatment for neglected tropical diseases. It forms part of Nigeria's broader primary health care under one roof strategy and aligns with regional coordination efforts involving neighboring countries in the Lake Chad Basin. The cross-border initiative aims to end active outbreaks of poliovirus and measles by 2025 and eliminate residual risks by 2026. Health authorities say Nigeria's model, linking multiple health interventions under a single drive, offers a blueprint for other ECOWAS member states confronting similar health challenges. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
You're listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. Here is a reminder of our top stories. The second edition of Invest in Senegal Forum continues in Dakar with calls for sustainable investment in West Africa. Fuel scarcity looms in parts of Mali due to rising attacks on supply tankers by fighters from Jenim. The Nigerian government targets 100 million children in a major vaccination drive against measles and polio. And Burkina Faso arrests 7 NGO workers over espionage allegations. Still ahead in the news, in Ghana, NIMOS cracks down on illegal mining with raid on infamous Abo camp. We also have guest interview and sport news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
The National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, has carried out a major raid in Alboso in the western region, dismantling a well-known Galamsey hub dubbed Gangway. The intelligence-led operation conducted on Sunday, October 5, is part of renewed government efforts to stamp out illegal mining and restore law and order in mining communities. From Accra, Nadi Ditete reports.
The National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, recently acted on intelligence to carry out a targeted operation in the Gangway area of Aboso, successfully clearing the crime-prone site. Officers dismantled numerous makeshift structures that were being used for illegal mining, gambling and drug trading. Additionally, they seized various mining tools linked to the exploitation and degradation of local waterways and land. At a recent meeting between President John Mahama and civil society groups regarding the Galamsey crisis, NIMOS Operations Director Colonel Dominic Boa reiterated the agency's zero-tolerance approach.
I would like to send this warning to illegal miners, their assigns and financiers, that they are the first or prime enemies of the state, and they will be dealt with as such. There will be no room for them to escape or to hide. NIMOS will smoke them out very soon. Our waters will turn blue, and our